Hey, everybody, this is Toby Younis, the Sales Leaders Institute, and today I'm with my partner and co founder, Shelley Carney. And today we're going to talk about several things. First of all, primarily, we're going to talk about selling through the pandemic. And in selling through the pandemic, we're going to cover four areas: your workspace, the quality of your schedule, how to seek out opportunities, and whether or not you need some coaching. Shelley?
Let's start with your workspace. For those of you who may not have been working out of the home before, you do want to make sure that you have established a workspace, perhaps a separate bedroom so you have a door, or if you don't have an extra bedroom, setting up a space either in your bedroom or in maybe at your kitchen table or somewhere in your home or apartment that is designated as your workspace so that you know and your family knows when you are in that space, you are at work, and they should treat it as such and not take your things away from there that you might need, your office supplies, or take your computer or different things away from your workspace. It should be established, and those things should be ready for you when you're ready to go to work. Toby?
As most of you know, Shelley and I have a studio from which we work, but that studio is not necessarily conducive to communicating with clients or keeping my notes, et cetera, et cetera. So what I've done is I've taken my dining room table, which is not being used for much else right now, and I've converted that into my workspace. And my position on the matter is that when I'm at that dining room table, I'm at work. I am either communicating with clients, communicating with my partner, or doing things that move our business forward. And I do it all from that location. Shelley?
When you're having time where you're going to be doing networking online, you want to make sure that you're set up for that. You want to have a camera that is going to give you a clear picture. You want lighting that's going to help your camera do its best work. You want audio that is clear so people can easily understand what you're saying. And you want to kind of have a studio feel without putting a whole lot of time and money into it. Make sure that your background is clean and not cluttered. And have a space where you're not going to have kids and pets running through and causing some confusion. Think studio if you're going to be doing online networking. Toby?
Now, when I am in the studio, I have the benefit of a green screen behind me. When I'm at my dining room table, I have the kitchen behind me. That kitchen includes a refrigerator, microwave oven, some countertop, et cetera, et cetera. But I make sure that it's neat and clean. Although you can tell it's in my kitchen, it is a neat, clean background that isn't distracting. In addition to that, I have all the tools. The picture that you see is actually my workspace, my home office on my dining room table. And it has all the tools that I need to be able to get through the workday, including my pens and pencils, my notebooks. I have a headset like this one with a microphone, and I invested in a ring light. It's a tool that's become into common use by the people on YouTube that produce their own videos, individual videos where they're basically looking at the camera. It's very even lighting. It's very inexpensive. It's very easy to control because you can control both the intensity and the color. So it made it real easy to put that up so that when I am communicating with my clients or communicating with other people, I can turn that light on. I have a neat background. It's well lighted. There is no backlighting that's turning me into a silhouette. And it was worth the investment just to give me that quality of image. So consider that. Doesn't have to be a big investment. You can get these ring lights for way under $100 if you feel like you need one. Check out the camera on your laptop. If it's not good enough, then consider investing $30 to $40 in a webcam that will work just as well with your laptop. And of course, the headset always improves your audio, not only that you're listening, but when your customers or the people that you're dealing with have to listen to you. Shelley?
Dressing for work is not just about people might see me, but it's also about what's going on in my mind. If I'm just slopping around the house in pajamas all day, then I'm not really on it. I'm not really ready for work. So I always make sure that I'm showered, my hair is done, and I have on nice clothing, especially if I'm going to be on camera. But even if I'm not, I am in my office, I am dressed for the day, and I'm ready to work. And that puts me in the right mindset to get stuff done. Toby?
You can see that Shelley and I are both wearing collared shirts. My case, a shirt. In her case, a blouse. That means you can't go so casual that you don't have a collar on your shirt. It also doesn't necessarily mean that you have to dress in a suit every day. But the idea of getting up, making your bed, taking a shower, and going through your what I call bathroom routine, coming out of your bathroom and getting dressed for the day is an important thing. There's something about that shower that says to you, okay, now that I've taken the shower, I've shaved, I'm ready to go the day. Let me put on some clothes that are what I would call Friday casual at a minimum, is going to give you the ability to communicate with your clients. And what you want to do is be able to provide to them the idea that you've invested in your appearance because you're at your desk and because you're being a professional about this. And they're going to respect you for that. Shelley?
When you're using virtual communication, say Zoom or Skype or Teams or one of the video conferencing platforms, make sure that you understand how to use it and you can use it well in a professional manner. You know the features of it. If you do not, there are many ways to learn it. Zoom has web conferences where they teach how to use all of the features of their product. There are help pages, there are PDFs, there are YouTube how-to videos. So make sure you take the time to learn and understand the platform and to use it fully. Toby?
The other thing that you have to consider is that you may not know exactly which of the virtual communication platforms your client is using. So you want to be familiar with all of them so that you can use the one that they're most familiar with. It could be Zoom, it could be Skype, it could be Web TV, it could be what was the other one? Microsoft Teams. So you want to be comfortable with all of those. In addition to that, each of these companies provide opportunities for training that you can take advantage of. And because they are virtual platforms, you can also use them as networking tools. And we're going to talk about that in just a second. Shelley?
Leverage technology to gain time. So whenever you're putting your time and effort into a digital product, say an email or a video, think about how you can use it across all of your clients or with all of your coworkers. What can you do with that email? Can you send it out to everybody? Can you turn it into a blog post? What else can you do with the digital product that you're spending time on? Toby?
So we're going to expect that the company that you work for, if you're not self-employed, has invested in some sort of customer relationship management tool like Salesforce.com. And of course, you know that Salesforce.com enables you to maintain the information you need to deal with your clients as well as to send them emails. Well, they're going to get a lot of emails. And one of the things you want to do is differentiate yourself. So one of the pieces of technology that's available to you are these tools now that enable you to create short videos that can be used as email products. And that way, you're showing your client, whether it's your Monday morning group email sent to all your clients, bringing them up to speed on what you're doing, what your company's doing, how you're playing through this particular era, or if it's an independent one where your client can see you, where you can talk directly to your client and where they can respond. If they are familiar with the tool, they can use the same tool to talk back to you or give you a call, enough to start a live streaming event or to engage in one of the virtual communications platforms that we talked about earlier. Shelley?
Time management is really important, and it's a great tool to have a strong grasp on. The way that I use time management is either Sunday night or Monday morning, make a list of everything I need to do during the week, and then start plugging that into my calendar. A lot of times, there are certain things that I do every day that are already on my calendar, such as making my coffee, journaling, meditating. exercise. Those are on my calendar every day. So then in the empty spaces, I'll go ahead and plug in the other things that I need to get done for work. Or if somebody in the family wants to have a call, I can plug that in. Or if I have a coaching call, I can plug that in. So then my calendar gets filled up, and then each day I can follow my calendar, honoring everything that's on there, and then I don't need a to-do list. Toby?
One of the most important elements of time management is planning, and it's also the most ignored element of time management. A lot of us manage our time based on what we're doing at any given time of the day. We modify our schedules accordingly, or we just update, as I said, your Salesforce.com platform with what actions you've taken. So do what Shelley suggests. Take some time at the beginning of the week and plan out your schedule. Now, it so happens that Shelley and I don't use the same tool. She's very much oriented towards her planning tool online. I start with a calendar book, and I make all my notes there. That enables me to plan out my week, and then I take those notes and I translate them into a spreadsheet very similar to the one that you see here, and that's what I work from. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to be exactly like that every week, but it gives me the opportunity to plan out my week to see how much time I'm going to spend working and how much time I'm going to spend in kind of managing my life as opposed to managing my work. Whatever works for you, do it. But make sure you're not responding to the plan or the schedule. You're actually planning your schedule in advance. That's the key element. Shelley?
There is no such thing as work-life balance. It is all life. The balance has to be within you. This is where priorities and values come into play. If you have not sat down and discovered what are my top 5 values and what are my top 5 priorities based on those values, you need to do that first. Then you can look at those, come up with your goals, and then your action steps that help you to meet those goals. And there you have all the things you need for plugging into your calendar. And you can balance out your life in that way because your values show you what's number 1, health. What's number 2? Maybe your family. What else? Work. Put those all down in the order they belong, and then it's going to be that much easier for you to plan your schedule. Toby?
If we know anything about this period, is that in the end, it's going to change each of our lives. And because it's going to change each of our lives, it's going to change our work. It's going to change the way we work. And it's going to change how we perceive work in the context of the rest of our lives. There is not going to be, from this point forward, a standard 9-to-5 job. It's all going to change based on how resilient we can be during this period, how resilient the company that we work for can be, and how we can adapt to that and still make a living that provides for ourselves and our family in a healthy and productive way. Shelley?
Well, we have to work with who we are living with, right? If you're living with a spouse or partner, if you're living with children, if you have pets, you have to figure out how these are all going to fit together, how you're going to spend time with them, especially now with children being home from school, perhaps needing to work through some homeschooling, and they might need your help with that, or they might need the computer for that. You have to work out those times together that you can work on what they need to do and have separate time for doing what you need to do. Some people find that they can do their exercise with their partners, so they can combine things. That time spent exercising, going for a walk, they can spend with their partner at the same time. Or for parenting, maybe you can get something, some cooking done while also helping your child with their homework, if that's something, or they can help with the cooking. So work that out to perhaps multitask together so that you're doing things that need to be done, but you're doing them with the people who need your time and support as well. Toby?
I regularly communicate with my 4 daughters, 3 of whom are married, and those 3 have children, the 4th of whom shares a space with her partner. All of them are employed. The youngest one's partner was just furloughed, but all of them are accommodating this idea that they are working from home with a partner, with children, and in a couple of cases with pets. And they've realized that the schedule that worked for them prior to this time, which was we all get up at a reasonable hour in the morning, we all make our little morning plans, we all distribute ourselves throughout the day, and then we come back in the evening. Now we are spending the entire day together, and we have to accommodate work, we have to accommodate partnering, we have to accommodate parenting, and what Shelley and I called petnering. You have to consider all of those in that same day, in that same location. And if you don't make adjustments, and one of the hardest things that I saw in my daughters was the idea that my daughters had certain responsibilities when it came to the children, even though they were full-time employed. That's all changed. They're finding ways to split the responsibilities for the children and for the pets so that it's all balanced and equal, and they can get their work done and their partners can get their work done. It's how you have to look at this in terms of not only your schedule, but that work-life balance. All of that has to be fit together like a puzzle in the context of whoever or whatever you're sharing that space with. I'm very fortunate not to have to share my space with anyone, and so it makes it a little easier on me. But I look at what Shelley goes through in order to accommodate the changes in her world, which includes her husband and her children, to make sure that it's all put in balance. And I know they work really well together. I think it was harder for my daughters because they were very active. They were in high-tech jobs. They were 12-hour-a-day kind of people. And now they're having to reconstruct all of that, and I'm watching them do that. It's really interesting to see the changes that they're making. Shelley?
Let's use the network for networking. A lot of things got canceled, right? We had seminars to go to, or big events coming up, or exciting times at concerts or with family trips, reunions, things of this nature, and they all got canceled. Instead of being depressed about what's not happening, we need to look for opportunities to make things happen online. There are online seminars, there's webinars, there's masterminds, there's group meetings, there's all kinds of things to take advantage of online. And the Small Business Administration has courses online. SCORE has courses and talks online. There's so much available online, and we can continue to network with people. Just opening up a Zoom with somebody and having a conversation, or even starting our own mastermind where we bring people together once a week or once a month to talk about subject that we have in common and just to learn from each other. Toby?
I really like that idea that Shelley suggested that eventually we start our own networking group in whatever field is most important to us. But I do want to suggest to you that the platforms that we were talking about, Zoom, Teams, and Skype, all produce webinars for the people that they're marketing to in order for you to learn those tools. The neat thing about it is you're in those webinars with other people like you. And so it turns into a networking opportunity as you engage with each of them. In addition to that, a lot of the social networking platforms, the business ones like LinkedIn and the personal ones like Facebook, daily have webinars that you can participate in if they're important to you. And it can be on any subject from sales to technology to personal improvement that you can participate in with other people who you can start building an outside network in. And finally, eventually, perhaps you can even start your own webinar series in a topic that's important to you or that you know is important to other people. Shelley?
I think the most important thing to me about self-care is having a morning routine. So I get up at about the same time every morning, and I go into the kitchen, do the dishes, make my coffee, and I go upstairs, and the first thing I do when I'm in my office is I meditate. I meditate for 20 minutes. I do affirmations, visualizations, and then I journal, and then I do stretching. And all of this is to take care of me, to take care of my personal needs before I jump into the workday so that I feel filled up. My cup is full, so then I'm able to share myself with others and I'm able to focus on my work without feeling deprived or like, what about me? I didn't get anything, I didn't get what I need. I always get what I need first thing in the morning. Once that's taken care of, I'm ready for work and I can focus. Toby?
So I'm 70 years old. I'm 71 years old, and I'm in one of those high risk groups. And my doctors contacted me when this was all starting to happen, and they advised me that I was in one of those high risk groups. And I asked them, what could I do? And they gave me the advice that we're hearing for everyone. That is, isolate yourself as much as possible. If you do get sick, try not to make anyone else sick. Wash your hands regularly, et cetera, et cetera. But they also said to focus on the elements of your health. And I don't know why I needed to ask this question, but I'm glad that I did. I said, what are the elements on my health that I should focus on? And they gave me this list, and I'm going to read you the list that I wrote down. Healthy eating, lots of water, regular sleep, exercise, and meditation. So I'm a numbers guy, and I wanted to know from them exactly what they meant by each one of those. So healthy eating is 3 healthy, smaller meals a day. That's going to give you the best balance. Now, some people fast through the day, and that works better for them. Some people need those 3 meals a day. Just make them small and healthy. I asked about water. 64 ounces a day is the answer that they gave me. I tried to work that out. It's 4 of those 16-ounce bottles. So now that you're recycling, I take 1 bottle in the morning, I drink through that, and then I just refill it with water the rest of the day so that I get those 4 bottles in. Sleep, a minimum of 7 hours, 8 hours ideally. During the regular times, I noticed that some of my youngest daughter has changed her sleep habits, and she's going to sleep around 2 o'clock and then sleeping later in the day. And she's trying to correct that. What they mean by the regular sleep is 7 to 8 hours, starting at around 10 or 11 and going through around 7 or 8. Exercise, minimum 30 minutes a day, minimum a walk. Now, if you can do 30 minutes a day and it happens to be a bicycle ride, even better. If it's 30 minutes a day and it's swimming or running or some sort of other exercise that involves machinery, even better. Minimum 30 minutes a day, preferably outdoors, and preferably raising your heart rate. And then finally, and I was surprised to hear this, meditation, because I am not by nature a meditative person. I tend to be too active for it. I said, how much? And I was surprised to hear for a minimum of 2 minutes, a maximum of 10. And even me, who has trouble sitting down for that long, I'm able to do that. And my meditation consists of listening to meditative music. And that's enough for me to get my brain straight and make me feel comfortable with it. So there's not a lot of requirement to all this to make it right. And you can focus on each one of them independently. Start with things like water and exercise, and then enhance yourself into the other areas that are just as important for your self-care. Shelley?
This is a really excellent time to skill up. That means work on your skills that you need for your work. If you were getting close to a promotion, say, but what were you missing? Go ahead and make sure you get those skills so that when you get back to work, then you can move up. Or if there's something you need to practice so that you don't get rusty, like a sales pitch or your signature talk if you're a speaker, make sure you're practicing that every day, writing it out, practicing it in front of a mirror. Keep fresh. This is a great time to find things online like courses. There's master courses. There are YouTube videos. There's how-tos. You can spruce up your home by watching a YouTube video and fixing something that was broken before. Lots of things to learn. Books, online books, tons of stuff out there to really keep your mind engaged. So you don't need to veg out in front of the television. You can spend some time learning. Toby?
I divide the world of learning into two areas, personal and professional. And for the most part, up until recently, I focused on the personal. I like learning new things about new things, and that's always exciting for me. But recently, because of the changes that we're making, Shelley and I, because the market is changing, because the world is changing, I decided to invest more time in the professional area. So I've gone and learned new online tools like PLR.me or Designer, tools that we can use to market ourselves, and that I had avoided learning because I didn't feel like I needed them at this point in my life. Well, the lesson that I've learned is this point in my life is going to require as much resiliency and as much foresight as I've ever had to have prior to this time in my life. And that gives me an opportunity to focus on some of these professional learning tools and topics that are going to help me as we get through this period. Shelley?
There is a whole world of opportunity that is opening up to us as we let go of some of the things that we were used to, the daily commutes back and forth to work, the talk at the water cooler, anything that involved us being face to face with people. As we have to let go of that, it opens up a world of other opportunities that we need to be aware of and start looking at and start taking advantage of. So ask yourself, since I have this extra time where I'm not commuting, what can I do with that instead? Since I have this lost this ability to speak one-on-one, face-to-face with somebody at a coffee meeting, what can I do instead? Look for the opportunities in these moments. Toby?
So when we were putting this presentation together, we got to the point where I was responsible for working on the slides, and Shelley was responsible for going and collecting the images that we'd need for each of the slides. And I thought it was fun and kind of interesting that she selected this one, and she didn't necessarily tell me which pictures to use on which slides. That I was able to make that choice myself. But I wanted to use this picture on this slide because the person that you see in this picture is in my age group, and he's just as excited about discovering an opportunity as I would be if I discovered a new opportunity. And basically what that means, if this guy and I at our age can be excited about opportunities because we're looking for opportunities, then you can be excited about opportunities because you're looking for opportunities. And there's one thing that we know for certain about these difficult times: opportunities do arise. And what you have to be is conscious of them, aware of them, and know which ones to take advantage of, because they're going to be there. You just have to look for them, and you have to pursue them with a vengeance. Shelley?
If you're still stuck, if you're still sad, if you're still feeling alone and lonely, and you just need somebody to pull you through this time of transition, that's where you come to us. We can coach you through the transition to go from working outside of the home to working inside of the home, to working through the pandemic, to taking advantage of all these new opportunities. You can contact us at salesleadersinstitute@gmail.com or give us a call at 202-815-1171. Toby?
What's important about this is that between Shelley and I, we have over 40 years experience in both life and business coaching. And we're going to interact with you in a very personal way using some of the tools that we talked about today. So we're going to be there for you. We're going to spend a lot of time listening and a little bit of time making recommendations that are custom suited for your needs, your time, your place in the world. And we love doing that. We always feel like we're dealing with people that are related to us. And I think that's what's important about what we do. I'm going to provide you a lot of business coaching because I have a lot of experience in that area. Shelley is going to be providing you a lot of information on life coaching because that's her area of expertise. But that's what it takes during this time. As we saw in that earlier slide, it's work is just part of life. And it's not about work-life balance. It's about life in which you have to work. We aspire to helping you to do that. Shelley?
Well, this too shall pass. However, everything is going to be different, and that's okay, because we're going through it together, and we're going to end up on the other side of this together in a new normal. And it's going to be great because we're doing it together. So, again, if you need some help to get through this time, give us a call. Toby?
The sooner we prepare for the new normal, the better off we'll be. This period is going to test not only our global and our national resilience, it's going to test our personal resilience. Because the more resilient you are, the better you are going to be able to adapt to whatever that new normal is. And right now, we don't have any idea what it is. We just know that it's going to be different. You have to be prepared for that. We'd like to be able to help you through this and through that. My name is Toby Younis. Thanks for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you in further conversations. Have a good day.